So, good morning, my dear friends. I hope all of you are doing good as usual, isn't it? Yeah, I'm also doing good. Thank you so much. So, as you know, we have covered few limitations in our previous session. And what were those limitations which we talked about? Greater formalities and expenses. Then we talked about greater corporate disclosures, including detailed winding up. That is a separate point which we have mentioned. Then greater tax burden, greater social responsibility. Also, we talked about separation between ownership and management as a limitation. Why is it that separation between ownership and management is a limitation? Because even holding 49% of the shares, can you do anything? No, because majority is what is required. More than 50% if you have, then probably we can do something, isn't it? Then, if you remember, why did we talk about greater social responsibility? Because the responsibility of company has moved from stakeholders to shareholders, isn't it? What? Yes? No. Shareholders to stakeholders. Then why did you say yes? Shareholders to stakeholders. Stakeholders means what? Come on, interested parties. Who are the stakeholders? Whoever has stake. So, nothing but interested parties, isn't it? Right. Then we started with, if you remember, corporate wheel. No, one more thing which we discussed. What was that? Citizenship. So companies do get citizenship? No, sir. Companies do get residential status. And we took some example as well. Like we said, in case of Income Tax Act, in case of FEMA, we have got the concept of residential status even for companies, but not citizenship for sure. Isn't it? Yes, sir. Then we also talked about corporate wheel to some extent, isn't it? So what did we say corporate wheel is? Corporate personality. That means it enjoys separate legal entity. It means that company has got the power to acquire assets in its own name, incur liabilities in its own name. Company and members are separate. Company and directors are separate, isn't it? So that is the meaning of corporate wheel, corporate personality, separate legal entity. However, when we say lifting of corporate wheel, what does it mean? Disregarding that separate legal entity and treating company and members, company and directors, company and any other person who's behind as one and the same. Correct? So what happens because of this now? Unlimited liability. Personal liability. Whose personal liability? Members, director, or any other person who's behind, who's involved there, becomes personally liable. So does this happen in does this happen usually? Generally, no. It happens only in exceptional circumstances, special cases, isn't it? Yes or no? So we have discussed few circumstances. If you remember, statutory circumstances we have talked about, and also few judicial circumstances. So statutory circumstances, obviously coming from law, coming from statute. So we have seen few sections where we have understood that the separate legal entity is disregarded, isn't it? Yes or no? So reduction in number of members, section number 3A, what does it says? If the company is having a reduction in number of members, then how much time it gets? 6 months. Correct? So if less than 7 or less than 2 number of members happens, 7 in case of obviously public company and 2 in case of private company. So less than that if it happens, then how much time is given to the company? 6 months. And within 6 months, if they increase the number of members back to statutory minimum, good enough. But if they do not increase it, then what happens? All the contracts which are done after 6 months, who will be held personally liable? Who will be held severally liable? All those members who are aware, they will be held personally liable, isn't it? Then we also talked about section 129, wherein we said there is a requirement of preparing consolidated financial statements in case a company has got a subsidiary. Correct? So if a company or body corporate has got subsidiary or subsidiaries, then it will not just prepare standalone financial statements, but also consolidated financial statements. That means what is happening here? Separate legal entity is disregarded. Separate legal entity is disregarded, isn't it? Then, come on, investigation, section number 219. So, if investigation order is issued against one company, does it mean only investigation will be carried out against that company? No. Even the group companies, right, its holding, subsidiary, associate companies, all those companies also will be investigated. So, is it that separate investigation orders will be issued? No. With one investigation order, they can investigate other companies. That means all those companies are treated as what? One and the same. Correct? So, again disregarding the separate legal entity is what is happening here. Then section number 4, misdescription of name. So, if you write wrong name of the company, then what will happen? You will be held personally liable. Correct? So, we have taken few examples as well. Then we also talked about misrepresentation in prospectus, section number 35. So, what happens here? If prospectus contains any wrong statement or incomplete statement and thereby investor believes that prospectus and invests in further or later suffers a loss, who will be held liable then? All those persons who have authorized the issue of prospectus. That untrue prospectus, whoever has authorized, they will be held personally liable. So, one example we took there, if you remember, if they write, we have declared dividend since last 3 years, but they don't mention the fact that the dividend was declared out of revaluation reserve, then what will happen? Then what will happen? It will be called as misrepresentation in prospectus, and thereby whoever has authorized that issue will be held liable. I have told you what is revaluation reserve. I hope you remember. What is it? Unrealized reserve. So, can we give dividend out of unrealized reserve? No. Isn't it? Everyone wants dividend, but they don't want this way, right? They want it by way of operating profits, from operating profits. Then one more was there, section 339, fraudulent conduct. If any fraud has been done, then what will happen? Company will be held liable. No, the person who has been involved in fraudulent conduct, he will be held or they will be held personally liable. So, this way we have understood that there are few sections, few provisions where what is happening? Disregarding separate legal entity, lifting of corporate veil. Then we have talked about even judicial circumstances, few if not all, right, which are there in our list. I think we have covered two. Guilford Motor Company versus Honey. This is one of the case where what happened? Guilford Motor Company removed this employee called as Honey on the condition that he should not be soliciting their clients. But this dirty fellow, what did he do after leaving the company? After leaving the employer? He incorporated a company wherein his name was not mentioned anywhere, but he was the brain behind that particular child, right? That means the company, and then started soliciting those clients. Obviously, Guilford Motor Company did not like it and they filed a case against Honey, isn't it? And then court also said that this is a mischief played by that Honey. So, thereby that company which he incorporated and Honey will be treated as one and the same. Thereby that new company formed by Honey should not solicit the clients of Guilford Motor Company. Correct? Then one more case law which we saw was Jones versus Lipman, isn't it? So, what happens here? Lipman, who agreed to sell the land on a particular date, consideration also was fixed, later on changed his mind and he wanted to avoid specific performance. Thereby, he formed a company, transferred that land to the company, and then when the suit was filed, he said, I do not have the land, I have already transferred it to company, so I cannot perform or I cannot do specific performance. But court again said, lift the corporate veil and treat that company and Lipman as one and the same, and thereby ordered that company to transfer that land to Jones. Correct? So, in this case also we understood lifting of corporate veil happened. As I have told you, I am repeating again, if you are trying to be mischievous, if you are trying to play around with the law, then law also will not leave you, isn't it? That's what is happening. So, in the name of company, if you are trying to do some mischief, are they going to leave you saying separate legal entity, corporate personality and limited liability and all? No, they are going to punish you like this. So, till here we have talked about, now we need to continue further, right? So, I hope you have put today's date and you're all alert. You've got your notebook, you've got your material or study material, whatever you call it as, in front of you, right? So next case law which we have is FG Films Limited case. FG Films Limited case. So what happened here? There was an American company. Which company? An American company, which incorporated a British company. That means a company in Great Britain. Can't it happen? An Indian company, can't they incorporate a company in France? So it will become a French company. Isn't it? So same way, an American company incorporated a company in Great Britain. That means a British company basically. So obviously who was holding the shares of that British company? American company. Who were the promoters? American company. Correct. Now this British company started producing, or you can say was making a film in India and wanted to get this film registered as what? British film. Wanted to get this film registered as British film. So the whole idea of incorporating this British company was that this film which we are making should get registered as a British film. You'll say, sir, why like that? What is so special about British film? What is so special that they wanted it to be a British film? Answer was, that time there were some privileges, advantages for Britishers, British films and all. So that's where they wanted to get it registered as which film? British film. But then Board of Trade, okay, refused. They said no, because here the company which you have formed is only for this purpose and it was promoted by American company. All shareholders are Americans, thereby we will register it as American film, not British film. Matter went to court of law. And what did court of law do? Disregarded separate legal entity and understood the whole thing. And then they said, yes, this company, okay, British company and American company should be treated as one and the same. And thereby this film should be registered as American film. Should be registered as American film. Followed simple case law. So American company started or incorporated a British company, was making a film in India, wanted to get registered as a British film only in the name of this British company. However, the Board of Trade refused. Matter went to court of law. Court of law understood that the whole idea of incorporating this company was to just register this film as a British film, no other intention or objective. Thereby they treated that American film, that film as American film and registered it as American film. That means they basically treated that British company and American company as one and the same. Lifting of corporate veil. Clear? All of you? Yes sir, very simple. I hope you are aware that films gets registered. In India, we have, not just in India, elsewhere also, the film which is being made is being registered. When you watch a film, first some screen comes, no, wherein it is mentioned some board of or central something, some mention of film certification, something like that. Then you'll have reels or number of hours, movie name, all that it's written. Registration certificate. Without that, it can't be released. Understand? Okay, sir. Fine. Now let's talk about the next case, which is the next case. Sir Dinshaw Menek G. Pettit case. You might have heard of it, right? Obviously, you have read this things already in CA Foundation. So, Sir Dinshaw Menek G. Pettit case. What happened here? There was a person and his name was Sir Dinshaw. What was his name? Sir Dinshaw. And he was a wealthy man, rich person, who had lot of investments, lot of wealth. Okay, so he decided to save taxes because he was having lot of wealth, lot of income. So obviously he'll pay lot of taxes. So maybe he consulted chartered accountant like you, okay, who advised them that okay, we can save taxes, we can pay lesser taxes. So Sir Dinshaw asked how. So it was suggested that if you incorporate 4 private limited companies, how many? 4 private limited companies, and whatever wealth, whatever investments you have, you transfer to this 4 private limited companies. Some to this one company, some to company 2, some to company 3, like that. Distribute your wealth. Distribute your wealth. What will happen because of this? The income will get distributed. And when income gets distributed, what will happen? The tax will get reduced. Because at that time, even the companies had not flat rate of taxes, but slab rate of taxes. They had slabs. Now there is no slab rate for companies, right? Flat rate, that they also we talked about. You know, flat rate of taxes is there for company form of business. But earlier it was slab rates even for companies. So they said, or someone advised, some professional advised that let's incorporate what? 4 private limited companies and distribute the wealth there. Okay. So now if he transfers those investments and wealth to those companies, who will get the return on those investments? Those companies only, no. But then the company should actually again give it to whom? Sir Dinshaw. It should come in the hands of Sir Dinshaw ultimately. If it is retained by the company and he is not receiving it, then how will he enjoy his wealth? He has to enjoy his wealth, no? Mauritius he has to go, no? Thailand he has to go, no? So please understand that the wealth has to come to him, the money has to come to him. So what did they do? Those 4 private limited companies gave the amount which they received as a loan, pretended loan to Sir Dinshaw. So first Sir Dinshaw gave investments, those wealth to the companies. Company earned return on those investments. And what did they do? This money which they got as return on investment, again gave it to Sir Dinshaw in the form of pretended loan. Why am I calling as pretended loan? Because loan means you have to repay. But here, there was no repayment. That's why just for the namesake loan, that's why we are calling it as pretended loan. So it reached the hands of Sir Dinshaw. And he was happily avoiding taxes. Now do you think the income tax department is a fool? If Sir Dinshaw, fool. Face it, then you will understand whether they are fool or this person will be a fool. Okay. So Sir Dinshaw Manekji Petit. Okay. What did he do? He was avoiding taxes, as I said. So income tax department said this is not acceptable. Because we could understand these 4 companies are doing nothing, no business, nothing. You have just incorporated these companies for the purpose of tax evasion. You have transferred your investments there. They are receiving the return on investment and then they are giving you that in the form of a loan which is actually a pretended loan. And you are avoiding taxes. We will not accept it. Who said this? The income tax department. And thereby, what happened? Matter went to court of law. And court of law disregarded the separate legal entities of these 4 private companies and treated those 4 private companies and Sir Dinshaw as one and the same. And thereby asked those 4 private companies to pay the tax as if it is Sir Dinshaw. Understand? Again I am repeating. जब आप कुछ mischief करेंगे, when you do some mischief, when you are trying to tamper the law, that is where they are going to disregard the separate legal entity. Don't think every now and then anything happens, they will lift the corporate wheel and make the person who's behind as personally liable or treat 2 persons as one and the same. That won't happen. It won't happen like that. Mischievous circumstances should be there. Something wrong happening or there is a chance of wrong happening, then they may do this. That means they may take the step of lifting or disregarding the corporate wheel. Followed. So I'm repeating again. What did we say? What did we talk about? We said there is a person called as Sir Dinshaw, who is a wealthy man. He had a lot of money, lot of investments, which he transferred to 4 private limited companies, which he only incorporated. Those companies were doing nothing, no business, except that they were holding these investments. So these companies received the return on investments. And because at that time even exemptions were there or maybe slab rate of taxes were there for private limited companies, so thereby what happened? They did not pay any tax. And this return on investment which was received by the company was given to Sir Dinshaw as pretended loan. So department raised questions there and was not satisfied. So matter went to court of law, and court of law disregarded the separate legal entity of these 4 private companies and treated those companies and Sir Dinshaw as one and the same, and accordingly asked payment of taxes. Clear? As I have told you, just don't bother about understanding, bother about even application, implication, presentation. Isn't it? Words also matters. How will we present also matters. This is just a short note. That's where I could prepare it in some diagram form, some flowchart form, or some keywords I'm writing. But then in the examination, if you're supposed to write this case, will you write it this way? No, obviously sentences. So that's where I'm saying focus on that as well. Okay? Yes, madam? So let's go to the next case law. Which is the next case law? Come on, read. Daimler Company Limited versus Continental Tire and Rubber Company Limited. Okay, so what happened here? This Daimler company, what did they do? What did this Continental Tire, Rubber and Company Limited do? So please understand, first thing, this Continental Tire and Rubber Company Limited, obviously as the name goes, was into which business? Tire manufacturing, and it was a German company. Which company? German company. So they were selling tires across the world, including Great Britain. So they incorporated a company in Great Britain. Okay, England. They incorporated a company. And they were not supplying the tires directly as a German company to the customers. Rather, what were they doing? The German company was selling those tires to the British company, which is their own company, because all the directors were German. The shareholding was with Germans. So tires they used to manufacture in Germany and then send it to Great Britain to their own company, that is British company, and then from there they used to sell to the customers, the consumers. So this was acting as a middleman, if you understand, the British company. Okay, yes sir. Now what happened? They were selling those tires on credit also to customers. Then later on World War broke out or broke. And when World War broke, you know who was the reason for World War? Adolf Hitler, isn't it? So now when they wanted to recover the money, this British company wanted to recover the money from their customers because they had sold those tires on credit. The customers refused to. They said, we will not pay the money. Why? So they said, you are a German company. They said, no, we are a British company. They said, no, all your directors, all your shareholders are what? Germans. So namesake it is a British company. Actually it is a German company. That means you are our enemy and we will not pay money to the enemy, come what may. When they insisted, this debtor only, one of the debtors, which is Daimler Company Limited, went to court of law. They said, my lord, they are troubling us. They are enemy company. We will not pay money to them. Because of them or for them, actually World War has taken place. So we cannot pay. Declare them as enemy company and ask everyone not to pay money to them. Who said this? Daimler Company. That is one of the debtor of this company. Okay. So court also agreed. They lifted the corporate wheel and they understood, yes, what Daimler Company is saying is absolutely correct. So for namesake it is a British company, just incorporation in Great Britain, otherwise everyone there is German. So they said, yes, it's an enemy company. The court declared them as enemy company. And accordingly asked Daimler Company not to pay the money. You also saw loss for them, no? Yes, enemy, no? Why will we think of profits for them? And just imagine World War we are talking about, not a small quarrel. So that's where the money was not paid to them. Able to understand? So what happened here? There was a company called as Continental Tire and Rubber Company Limited from Germany. Okay, it's a German company manufacturing tires, selling it across. So they incorporated a company in Great Britain, and they decided in Great Britain they will sell it through this British company only, and they were selling on credit. When World War broke out, what happened? They wanted to recover money from their debtors. One of the debtors refused and said, "You are our enemy. We will not pay the money to you," because in this British company, who were the shareholders, who were the promoters? All Germans. So you are enemy company. We will not pay the money. Matter went to court of law, right? They took it to court of law, filed a petition, filed a case, and court also agreed with what Daimler Company Limited alleged, and thereby declared that British company as enemy company. Right? British company as enemy company, because when they disregarded separate legal entity, they treated German company and British company as one and the same, and thereby enemy company, and hence no payment was made to them. Okay. Now please raise your hand, those who want to present this or answer this in short. I have explained twice. Now I want you to just present in sentences. Okay, that too in short. Let's see whether you are able to do it or not. Only one? That's it? Okay. Sit and answer. One minute. We're talking about this case only. I said in short. Don't elaborate. Right? Court of law claimed. So I appreciate your efforts, but I would say please always take time first. Whenever we ask a question, we don't expect immediately, isn't it? And that too a question like this where I said you need to think as if you're presenting in the examination. So frame in your mind first and then always get up and answer. Anyways, but it was good. It was good. Definitely good. Balaswamy, you want to try now? First hand over. No? But did you understand? All of you? So what's happening here? Lifting of corporate wheel. Why is it happening? Because they're trying to be mischievous here. In the name of British company, they want to collect money. No doubt, it's their money because they sold goods on credit. But they are the same persons who were the reasons for the World War. So where is the question of paying money to them? Because they are troubling us so much. They'll not be paid. That's what that British customer had to claim or was claiming. Correct? Okay, sir. So let's go to the next one, sir. Okay, like that, more cases are there. We have picked up few to make you understand what is actually lifting of corporate wheel. So now, next one which we have in front of us is Workmen of Associated Rubber Industries Limited versus Associated Rubber Industries Limited. Meaning, workmen of the company has filed a case against the company. Why, sir? Was company doing something wrong with them? Obviously, yes. That is where they thought of filing a case. Otherwise, why will they do that? Why will the workers just file a case against the employer company? है ना? Right, sir. So what happened here? Let's understand. Associated Rubber Industries Limited was earning profits, and if they are earning profits, good profits, they have to pay good amount of bonus, good amount of, what do you say, incentives to the workers, but which they wanted to avoid. So what did they do? They had set up few subsidiary companies. They had set up few subsidiary companies which was not doing any business. There were no assets also. So only company incorporated, namesake, and they, whatever profits they were earning, they were transferring those profits as investment in those companies, in those subsidiary companies, and thereby avoiding their liability towards, their obligation towards workmen, workers. Okay, workmen or workers. Workers obviously observed this. They saying, what nonsense is going on? So the matter went to court of law. They went to court of law and explained this, that because they want to reduce the payment of bonus, they are reducing the profits, they are transferring all those profits which they are earning as investments to subsidiary companies. And those companies are not doing any business, no assets at all. It was just to avoid payment of bonus or reduce the payment of bonus, they were doing this. So what did court do? Lifted the corporate wheel and treated the subsidiary company or companies and that Associated Rubber Industries Limited as one and the same, and asked them to honor their commitments, asked them to fulfill their obligations with respect to payment of bonus. Followed? Okay. So they were smart here again. Who? The company Associated Rubber Industries Limited, right? 1.5 smart. So court of law was double smart here, and they said nothing doing. These companies will be treated as one and the same, and thereby pay bonus accordingly. So this is how the case was resolved. Do I need to explain this again? I don't think so, but still you want, I can. Any one of you has not followed, please let me know. All of you have understood? So these were few case laws, okay, which we wanted to discuss to understand lifting of corporate wheel. Okay. So now come to this list. Just observe this list for once, okay. Statutory circumstances. Yes, sir. Section 3A, reduction in number of members. Are we able to recall what is happening here? Yes, sir. If they don't increase the number of members back to statutory minimum, then those members will be held personally liable. Those who are aware, those who are existing will be held personally liable. So here, instead of company, they are making members personally liable. So corporate wheel was lifted. Yes, sir. Second, consolidated financial statements have to be prepared, not just standalone. What do you mean by standalone? Of their own. We discussed, no. Company H will prepare their standalone financials. Company S, which is a subsidiary, will also prepare its standalone financials. However, both also, meaning company H will also prepare consolidated financial statements because of the requirement given under section 129 of Companies Act 2013. So when they do that, that means company H and company S is treated as one and the same. That means they are disregarding separate legal entity because they want the company to give a proper picture to the shareholders. Shareholders of company H will be interested in company S or not? Yesterday I have explained you. Isn't it? They will be interested. So they would like to not know just about company H but also company S. So that's what happened. Then we also talked about misdescription of name. So writing wrong name, that means you are not serious about company form of business. So thereby separate legal entity will not come then. Whoever is writing the wrong name and signing will be held personally liable. That's it. Then misrepresentation in prospectus. Prospectus is issued to raise funds. So you have to give the correct picture, true picture, complete picture. But what are you doing? Wrong picture you are giving. Incomplete picture you are giving. That's where misdescription, misrepresentation. Right? So they say whoever has authorized the issue of prospectus will be held personally liable. So again they have disregarded separate legal entity and making those persons who are behind this personally liable. Yes, sir. Then investigation 219 says, if investigation orders are against company X, then is it only company X which will be investigated? No. Also company Y, company Z, if they are related companies, they are holding subsidiary companies, then they will also be investigated. Correct or not? So in this case also what is happening? Disregarding separate legal entity, lifting of corporate veil. And then fraudulent conduct as per section 339, side heading itself is enough. If there is a fraud, then what will they do? Only make company liable? No. They will take out those persons who are behind, right, who were behind that fraud, who were actually involved in that fraud, and make them personally liable. So that means again lifting of corporate veil. Understood? So this is how we have understood few statutory circumstances. Then coming to case laws now, just recall. Are you able to recall Guilford Motor Company versus Horney? What happened in that case? Yes, sir. Horney, the dirty fellow who was left, he was removed from the job, was asked not to solicit the company's clients. But what did he do? In the name of company, he started doing that. So again, disregarded and asked the company not to solicit the clients of Guilford Motor Company. Jones versus Lipman. Lipman, what did he do? Agreed to sell some piece of land. Date fixed, consideration fixed, and later on he said, no, I don't want to. And because he wanted to avoid specific performance, thereby he incorporated a company, transferred the land to that company. And then when case was filed, he said, I'll pay penalty, but I cannot transfer land because I don't have the land. But the court lifted corporate veil and treated company and Lipman as one and the same, and thereby asked them to transfer the land. FG Films Limited case, American film, but they wanted to get it registered as a British film, so they incorporated a British company. But again, Board of Trade did not allow that, right? They treated American company and British company as one and the same. Daimler Company Limited versus Continental Tire. So Continental Tire, which was a German company, selling through a company which they formed in Great Britain. All Germans were the directors, shareholders. World War broke out. They wanted to recover the money. One of the debtors, Daimler Company, refused, saying that it is an enemy company. So to determine the enemy character, again they lifted the corporate veil. Then Sir Dinshaw Menekji Petit case. So wealthy man, 4 private limited companies. Isn't it? Dinshaw ice cream nahi hai, huh? Sir Dinshaw Menekji. So wealthy man, 4 private companies, transferred all investments and wealth there. Companies were earning return on investment and then giving to the Sir Dinshaw as pretended loan, and then avoiding taxes because they were falling under exemption. However, income tax department did not like it, and they understood the mischief played by him, and thereby again lifted the corporate veil, treated those 4 companies and Sir Dinshaw as one and the same. Then workmen of Associated Rubber Industries Limited versus Associated Rubber Industries Limited. So this company, Associated Rubber Industries Limited, in the name of subsidiary, transferred all the investments there, which were not having any business, no assets also, except these investments. This was only done to reduce the obligation to pay bonus. So workers went to court of law declared that the company and the subsidiary as one and the same, and thereby lifted the corporate veil and treated those companies as one and the same and asked them to pay the bonus. So do you think there are more cases on this? Yes, there are. But then as I have told you, we have picked up few important ones so that you understand the concept. Okay. Now you need to answer one thing. And that one thing is written out here, if you could see. Concept of legal personality of company is of absolute nature. Is the concept of legal personality, corporate personality of company is of absolute nature. Answer. Come on, simple English. Sir, simple English only you don't understand, sir. Company has got a legal personality, corporate personality. Is it absolute in nature? Is it going to remain untouched? No, sir. We just now saw that they may disregard this corporate personality. They may lift that corporate veil. So how can it be absolute? It may change, no? They may disregard this, no? So we understand that the answer is what? No. Okay, the answer is no. Sir, we are not able to see. Yes. Why will I show you? I will write with such font or such color that you should not be able to see even if the slide is in front of you. Okay, the answers will be like that only. But anyways, we discussed the answer now. Because lifting of corporate veil is happening, that means the legal personality is not absolute in nature. It may be disregarded. It may be set aside. Sometimes we may forget that legal personality. Correct or not? This was an examination question only. Maybe I did not form all that masala story and all. Just ask directly the question. ठीक है sir, समझ में आ गया. So now if you don't have doubts in this, we can move on to types of companies. I hope you are keeping a track with your printed material. I have asked you. As of now, I am not reading anything from printed material for the simple reason these are things which actually is a sort of revision for you. Because you have read this in CA Foundation. So that's where I am not spending too much time and thereby avoiding reading. Okay, so this was the point, right? Conclusion, residential status. You remember we discussed? Come on here, yesterday we discussed, no? And then we started with lifting of corporate wheel. Statutory, yes sir. Judiciary, sir, statutory you have given only 3, but we discussed more than 3. Yes, printed material 3 are given, but out of my own interest I have discussed few more. Any problem if I discuss more? Sir, even if there is a problem, what can we do, sir? Anna? Judiciary lifting, just now we discussed a few cases. Guilford Motor Company versus Horney. Right, company being mere sham, fraud. Jones versus Lipman. Come on guys, tell me yes or no. So we expect you to read this, okay. Now I'll just read the conclusion given here for you. In spite of lifting the corporate wheel quite a number of times as specified above, they were done only in extraordinary circumstances and not as a matter of routine, and also to achieve some other larger objective. Thus, it is wrong to say that the sanctity of corporate will no longer exist. The company form of organization is very popular in the world and has come to stay in the long run because of its principal advantages of legal entity, corporate personality, registration, limited liability, perpetual succession, etc. Correct or not? So don't think every now and then they will be lifting corporate wheel. Then no one will be interested in company form of business. This we have answered already. Come on, these 2 questions. Company is a legal person, not a citizen. We discussed yesterday, and today we discussed the concept of legal personality of companies of absolute nature. No, that's not the case. That's false, because lifting lifting does happen, isn't it? Yes, sir. So now let's come and talk about the different types of companies. Right. So what are the different types of companies? You'll say, sir, public company, private company, holding company, subsidiary company, company limited by guarantee, company limited by shares, like that. You'll talk about multiple types of companies. But the best way to discuss this is obviously on the grounds of basis. Okay, maybe not be properly seen there, but okay, no problem. Basis word bol raha hu. If the basis is membership, then the types of companies are private company, public company, and one person company. One person company. Next, if we talk about control as the basis, on the basis of control, if someone asks, come on, define the types of companies, then what will we say? Holding company, subsidiary company, associate companies. On the basis of domicile, on the basis of geographical domain, then what will we say? Indian company, foreign company. On the basis of listing status, then we'll say listed, unlisted. On the basis of objective, profit making companies, non-profit making companies, that is section 8 companies. Then on the basis of liability of members, company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, having shares or not having shares, unlimited guaranteed company, having shares or not having shares. On the basis of business, banking companies, investment companies, finance companies, like that also we can classify. So like that there are various ways of classifying the companies. Like if I talk about this class only, you have to classify the class. Okay, you have to talk about the different types of students. So you will say, sir, what is the basis? If gender is the basis, you may say girls and boys. There are two types of students. If I say attempt is the basis, then you might say, sir, someone is writing in May, someone is writing in November. So those two types. Domicile as the basis, then you will say, sir, few students are from Hyderabad, few students are from out of Hyderabad. Correct? Local students, outstation students, both are there? No. So like that, we can go for different basis. Same way when we are discussing the different types of companies, basis plays a role. Based on the basis, we will classify the companies. Okay. Right, sir. Followed it. Acha. Why did I write etc. here? Good. Inclusive list. It's not exhaustive. Someone wants to take some other basis and classify, let him or let them. We are not stopping. We are not saying this is the only list. These are the only types of companies. No, boss. There can be. So now let's discuss first on the basis of membership. Obviously, we'll discuss first on the basis of membership. And you know it already. I don't have to tell you, isn't it? Private company. Where is it defined? Section 2, clause 68. Where is private company defined? Section 2, clause 68. Okay, sir. Sir, till now how many sections are over, sir? Section 1. Section 1 we completed, no? Then, sir, section 450. General penalty clause 451, 454A, that we completed. 447 we didn't complete. 3A, reduction in number of members. Yesterday we completed. Today also we revised. Lifting of corporate wheel. 3A. 129 is not fully over. Same way 35 is not fully over. Same way 219 is not a part of your syllabus and that's not fully over. 339 is not fully over. Only 3A is fully over because it was there in syllabus. I have covered fully. Other things only from the point of view of lifting of corporate wheel I covered. I think I have told you that you have the list of sections at the back of your, at the end of your book, printed material. Come on, take out. No, you have not. You didn't bring your law books. You have brought. No. At the end, list of sections is there, no, ma'am? At the end of the book. So daily basis, what did I ask you to do? Tick. Whichever section is getting over, tick. I said just now 1 over, 3A over. Then I said 450 over. Where will you find 450? Last page. The list of sections is given chapter wise. Hai na? So 450 over, 451 oblique 454A over. Over or not over? Acha, and features, where did we get it from? Features, limitations. We discussed features of company. We discussed limitations of company. Where did we get that from? Sir, multiple provisions. That's not one single provision, no. So you cannot take anything for that. Acha, 2 clause 20 we discussed. What was that? Come on, 2 clause 20. Definition of company. We have completed that. So don't take section 2. Section 2 is huge, you know that. But in section 2, we have covered clause 20. Now we are covering clause 68. So sir, shall we prepare a list of section 2? Different clauses? Yes, good. You can prepare. I have not prepared that. You can prepare it. It will be useful for you. It will be helpful for you. When you want to revise all those clauses, don't you think it will be easy? Yes, sir. Why should we think of all that? Anna? What is our target? So you'll get it easily. Obviously, you'll have to put in efforts. Then you will get it. Isn't it? So please, you at least prepare the list of section 2, the various clauses which we are discussing. 2 clause 20. You should not forget that is definition of company. So important. Now 2 clause 68. Needless to say, definition of private company is important. Okay. Right, sir. So let's come to let's come to private company. Come on, you know it, you've read it. Sir, private company means it has to be first of all a company. Which company? Company under Companies Act. That means a registered company. Correct? Why? Company term is a general term. Yes, no, what, no. Yes. Term company is a general term. I have told you the other day also. You may find some shop opposite side. What is written there? Shankarlal and Company. So does this become a company under Companies Act? I have told you, I am giving company to you, you are giving company to me. This is also company. Don't we use this word company? Come on, generally we use it. But we need to understand, when are we going to call it as a company under Companies Act? Only when registration takes place. That too registration under Companies Act. That's why the definition of company stated what? Company means a company which is incorporated or registered under Companies Act 2013, that is this act, or any of the previous Companies Act. They also know that company word is a very common word. Partnership firm is also a company because their partners are giving company to each other. But in order to call that as a company under Companies Act, any company for that matter, under Companies Act, it has to be registered under Companies Act. Correct? So private company, when we are saying, first of all has to be a company, meaning a registered company. Next. How much minimum paid up capital? As prescribed. They say as prescribed. Further they say 3 restrictive clauses in the Articles of Association. 3 restrictive clauses where? In the Articles of Association. If it's a private company, we have discussed already one of the restrictions, if you remember. Preemptive clause. In last some preceding session I have talked about preemptive clause, if you remember. Anyways, so first, registered companies are, yes, this way understood. Understood or not? Any company to be called as a private company, first of all has to be a registered company. Secondly, the minimum paid up capital should be as prescribed. Now tell me, what do you mean by the word prescribed? Rules. I have told you this also earlier, if you remember. Whenever you come across this word prescribed, it means rules are there, or rules may be there. That means the lawmakers are giving the power to the central government that you frame rules on this. Sir, but why like this? Now you tell me, do you think the paid up capital has to be the same irrespective of the business activity? How much money required in a coaching center, for a coaching center, do you think same money is required for setting up a cement plant? Bolo bhai, no. Here the capital which is required is lesser. There the capital which is required is huge. One has to understand that the paid up capital depends upon nature of business. So that is where they are saying that, boss, minimum paid up capital should be there, but that depends on nature of business, and we don't want to break our head. Who is saying this? Lawmakers. So that's where they said, let this be decided by central government. So that's where they write the word prescribed. For your information, in the definitions you will find one of the definition is there for the word prescribed. You want to see? Open your book and see. Definitions are there in front of you. Acha. One more thing. If you just see the list of definitions, see. 2 clause 1, abridged prospectus. Abridged word starts with A. Then accounting standard starts with A. Then alter A. That means it will be arranged alphabetically. So it's easy for you to search. Not just this law, any law you take. Always the definitions will be arranged alphabetically. Sir, A, abridged prospectus, A, accounting standard. Why abridged first? I don't have to tell you that. You have noticed already. AB, abridged AB. So B, and accounting standard AC. So obviously AB will come first, AC will come later. Like how you refer dictionary. Same way. So now, just break your head and think, where will the word prescribed be? P mein to rehta re bachche. We got to know private companies 2 clause 68. Private company PR. prescribed word PR. That means it is nearby 68. It is nearby 68. Now question comes, sir, before 68 or after 68? हाँ? थोड़ा दिमाग लगाओ, बुक में तो देख ही लेंगे भाई, थोड़ा बोलो, मैं जो पूछ रहा हूं वो मैं कुछ सोच समझ के पूछ रहा हूं. PRI. So obviously it has to be before 68. So that is how you understand how to refer things. This is just a very small example. Later on also you should know how to refer things. It's important because see, when you're sitting in office working for some client and client come and ask you some question, do you think you will know everything and you will answer? No, it's not possible. But you should know where to find the answer. How to find the answer. If you've learned that, then you can be in the profession. Now, client comes to me and asks something. Do you think I know that? Everything which my client asked, I know? No, it's not possible. But I know where to find answers for it. How to find answers for it. That's also important. Clear? So, that was the reason why a small, question like this I just raised. So, let's go and search, right, before 68 and see whether it is there or not. Isn't it? Beta, lights, projector, camera. Okay. AC, you understood, no beta? Acha, your name is AC. So when I'm asking, you guys are not replying. And when I point out AC's projector, PC, then you reply. So what do I assume? Come on guys, you have to interact. Okay, so from now onwards, I'll say AC and projector. Okay, no. So see auntie here. There or not? The word prescribed to clause 66, which says means prescribed by rules made under this act. So it's saying prescribed word means what? Rules made by or made under this act. Who will make the rules? Central government, not just government, central, because state government do not have the power. Sir, where is that written, sir? Where is it written that central government has the power to frame rules? Huh? Is it written somewhere? Sir, if you are saying maybe it is written somewhere, sir. है ना? You trust me or no? If you are not replying. अरे पहले भी बोला था ये लॉ पढ़ रहे, जनरल सब्जेक्ट नहीं पढ़ रहे. So everything which we are talking about will be written somewhere. Not possible that I just utter, you just utter. It's not going to be accepted. It has to be written somewhere. Then only it will be accepted. So if you refer to section number 469, which section? 469. You will find it gives the power to the central government to frame rules. Which section? 469. I don't know why it's taking so much of time. When I use it independently, it doesn't take so much of time. You have the app downloaded with you, in your mobile. I think you can also take it out. You have the app. I've told you Companies Act 2013 app you need to download. I've sent the link as well the other day. Right? Anyways, now it has come. So where do I search? I'll go to the Companies Act 2013. This is the list of chapters. Now tell me, where will you find section 469? Which chapter? So obviously last chapter, because how many sections are there in Companies Act? Section 1 to section 470. And I said 469 it covers. So obviously it will be in the last chapter, chapter number 29. Miscellaneous. Could you see? Section 469. Power of CG to make rules. I can go inside as well, but you don't have it in your syllabus. So at least you should know who has given the power. So we were discussing actually 2 clause 68, private company. From there we came to 2 clause 66, prescribed word. And prescribed word has helped us understand, okay, we need to come to some section, because I knew that section number, so I straight away have taken you here, 469. Just observe what is above 469. Come on guys, power of CG to make rules. This also make rules, but read fully. See, so winding up they treat separately. Winding up will take a lot of time, as I've told you. Even that is why in limitations I was saying detailed winding up separate. I didn't club it with greater formalities and expenses, isn't it? So kindly understand, this winding up is a huge topic. So for that again separate power is given to the government. And one more thing, if you understand, as I've told you, if you want to close down the company which you incorporated, NCLT permission required. NCLT permission is required. So few people think NCLT has the power to frame rules. The answer is no. It is section 468 which clearly said that central government has the power to frame rules relating to winding up. Maybe the power to give that dissolution order, winding up order is with NCLT. But who will frame rules for winding up? Central government. Sir, once these rules are framed, can it be altered? Can it be changed? Yes, of course. Law can change, rules can't change. When law can change, rules can't change, it can change. Why will it change? Sir, it is for society. And society keeps evolving, changing. So law also, rules also needs to change. Do you think the way we are teaching also has changed? Gone are the days, whiteboard, blackboard, isn't it? Are you getting it? Things are changing now. So same way, law also has to change, rules also has to change. So see above. Above meaning 467. अरे 469 पे थे, above बोला तो 468. Above बोलूंगा further तो 467. What is written there? Power of central government to amend schedules. So actually it is not just schedules. When you go inside, you will find power of CG to amend rules, schedules and all. So 469 is about CG to make rules. 469 is about CG to amend rules. 467, sorry. 469 make rules, 467 amend rules. In between 468 is also make rules, but for winding up. Clear? So even if they want to change the rules, someone has to give the power. Someone meaning some provision has to give the power. So given it in section number 467. Clear? Fine, sir. We understood. So do you think miscellaneous topic is also important? I have told you the other day also. If you have forgotten, I am reminding you. Right from the section 1 to section number 470, everything plays a role. You cannot undermine any provision's role. You cannot underestimate any provision. Let it be a small, let it be a big one, let it be in the beginning, let it be at the end. Every section has got its role. Okay, yeah, importance. Chalo. Yes, sir, we understood. Let's come back. Okay, we'll come back. So, registered company. Yes, sir, we understood this point. Minimum paid up capital as prescribed. Okay, sir. So, CG. Now, you will ask me, sir, what is the minimum paid up capital which they prescribe? Now, you tell me. Can I tell you? There will be different sectors for which they have prescribed. But as of now, they haven't. As of now, they haven't. That means, if you want to start a private company with, let's say, 2 lakhs paid up capital, can you start? Yes, your wish. Till the time they prescribe something, you can follow what you want. But the moment they prescribe, then you have to follow the same. Correct? Yes, sir. Next, 3 restrictive clauses in articles of association. It's a private company, so restrictions will be there. So how many restrictions? 3. Where are these restrictions mentioned? Articles of association, that is AOA. What are those restrictions? Number 1, restrict the number of members to 200 except employees and former employees. However, joint holders will be counted as 1 member. So what did they say here? Number of members will be max to max 200. However, in this 200 we will not be counting employees and former employees. And if we find that there are joint holders, then only they will be counted as 1. They will be counted as 1. Okay, Shivek? So now, second restriction restricts the transfer of shares. Third, prohibits public invitation for securities. Obviously, no private company, then how can they invite public for securities? That is not possible. ठीक है sir, समझ गए. Understood? Let me ask you questions then. First question. What is this except employee, former employee? What do you exactly understand from this? Sir, we understand that effectively the number of members can be even more than 200. Because they are saying in 200 they will not count employee and former employees. So it means that if an employee was made a member of the private company because he was really working hard for the company and he was giving not just 200% results, he was giving result to the company, value addition he was making. Then company was happy with him, so thereby they made him a member. They gave him shares. So now this person who was an employee has become a member of the company. So when he has become member of the company, will he be counted? The answer is no. Suppose he became member, okay? Employee became a member and thereafter left employment. He is continuing with membership but left employment. Then also will he be counted? No. So don't you think there are chances that there may be more than 200 members in a private company? Yes, because in the 200 list will not count this. See the question. Various scenarios I am taking here if you have still not understood. Let us say our sorry madam, I forgot your name. How come I don't know? Kumari madam. Sit. So let's say Kumari madam is an employee in a private company. She becomes an employee. And you know she is hardworking, dedicated, focused. You are, right? Yes or no? Yes, sir. So thereby they made you member. That means they gave you some shares of the company and they made you a member. Will you be counted in the number 200? Now you have become member of private company. Will you be counted in this 200? Come on, answer. No, just now I said no. In 200 will not be counting employees and former employees. What auntie, you're sleeping? Then madam, such a simple question I've asked. After explaining I've asked. I need to get answers. Now, madam, you will answer next question. So, Madhavi madam became an employee of the private company first. She was also hardworking, so they gave some shares to her and thereby made a member. But after some time, maybe because she was hardworking, some other company pulled her. That means she left this company and joined some other company. However, she continued with membership. Now, will we count Madhavi madam in this 200? Answer, madam. The answer is no, ma'am. Madam, you have become former employee now. You were employee because of which you got membership. You left employment, that means you became former employee, but still you are having membership. Will you be counted in 200? No, just now I said no, ma'am. Restrict the number of members to how much? 200. Except employee, former employee. Then I also told that means we will not count this employee, former employee. Then further I said that means in a private company there can be more than 200 members also because employees and former employees who are members will not be counted. 3 ways I have explained and then I am asking you a question. So I expect answer from you, ma'am, and that to right answer. Okay, no problem. But next time please take care. Shivani auntie, now you will answer. Let us say Shivani is an employee of a private company, right? Hardworking, dedicated, exceptional, and because of that gets what? Membership. But again some company pulled Shivani auntie. So Shivani auntie loses the employment. She herself leaves the employment of that private company. And she also decides to sell the shares of this company. So thereby she ceases to be a member. But then later on, again she buys shares on her own. Shares on her own. So you became employee, then became member, then left employment, left membership, again took up membership. Now will you be counted? Will Shivani auntie, right? Shivani auntie only will answer. Will you be counted in this 200? Very good. The answer is yes. Because what happened here? She left both. When she left employment, she left membership also. Then once again when she is taking membership, it is not because of employment. Right? You took up membership again. This membership was because of employment. Come on, answer guys. No. So that means it will be counted in 200. Next, Mehul. You became a member. Okay. And you also became an employee later. So first you became member of a private company. Then later you became employee of that private company. Will you be counted in this 200? Good. The answer is yes. Sir, why he is an employee? When did he become employee? After becoming member. So that means his membership was not because of employment. Understand? Right. Followed or any doubts in this? Kumari madam. Understood, no? So whenever any person becomes employee of a private company and because of that employment, if he becomes member, then he will not be counted in 200. Though he might have left employment, but if he is continuing with membership, he will not be counted in 200. Suppose he left employment and also membership and again take up membership, then he will be counted. Or suppose he becomes member first and employee later, he will be counted. So it is purely because of employment. If someone is becoming a member in that private company, he will not be counted. That means you will say, sir, why like this? The reason is very simple. It is not that employee wants to become member. Company wants employee to become member. Thereby they say don't count him. Did he come and say make me a member? No. Wherever he said make me a member, like fourth case you see, he became member. That means he wanted to become. So there we will count. Got it? Right, sir. These are examination questions. Next. Sir, what is this joint holder? Treated as one member. Any idea? Huh? Group of persons. Why group you need, boss? Two persons also can be joint holders. More than one is better answer than saying group. Okay. So joint holders. Sometimes it's possible husband and wife will be the joint owners. Father and daughter might be the joint owners. Sir, father and son? Maybe. Brother and brother might be? Maybe. Two friends might be joint holders. There are different reasons, okay? There are different possibilities. So, you need to understand that joint holders can be there. So, if joint holders are there, okay, two persons have jointly owned the shares, purchased the shares, they become joint holders. But they will be treated as one. Do dil ek jaan hai hum. Understand? Two hearts but one soul, one body. It's like that. Body to nahi, one soul only we should say. Correct, no? So kindly understand, joint holders, they are saying they will be treated as one. What is the benefit of this? More number of members they can accommodate. Very good. Yes. I've put it on charging. The advantage, as we are saying, they can accommodate more number of members. Let's say now Shivani and Priya both are jointly holding some shares. And company law says we will not count them as 2 members, we will count them as 1 member. So don't you think now we can have one more member? So that is the benefit of it. Sir, but why are they doing like this? Simple logic. When they are joint holders, they will take decisions collectively, no? They'll consult each other and there will be only one vote for them, one decision for them. So why should we count them as 2 members? We will count them as only 1. Isn't it? When Mehul will get married, he'll invite us. So he'll invite our family. Will he count family members like that? No. He'll say 1 family. Maybe 1 comes, 2 comes, 5 comes, 10 comes, whatever. This is the family whom I am inviting. He'll not give separate invitation cards to all the family members. Isn't it? So it's as simple as that. One has to understand. Acha. But I want to know just something more here. Why will persons go for joint holding? I would like to understand from you. This is not a part of your syllabus, what I am asking, okay? But still I am asking you. Because you are going to be chartered accountants. And someone comes and asks you, should I go for joint holding? And you are like, I know what is joint holding, but I don't know whether to go for it or not, or what is the reason and all. Do you want to be in that situation? No. So that's where just think. Why do you think people go for joint holding? Get up, Shivani, and answer. And don't give me clues, huh? Answer fully so that I understand. Who would like to buy shares at higher price? We would like to buy shares at lower prices. So you're saying they have lesser money and thereby they say, chalo, let's come together and buy it. So what she's trying to say is that probably both of them do not have enough money. But if they come together, they have enough money to buy the share. That's where they're doing joint holding. Okay. Okay. Any other reason? Any other reason? Raise your hand. Only one again. Sit. So that's the same answer, no? So what difference does it make? Somewhere it will come in that only, boss. Sit. No. Uncle. Okay, no problem. I'll tell you the reason because of which people normally do the joint holding. Let's say father and daughter, okay, one father and daughter did joint holding. And after a few days or after some time, father passed away. So now daughter will automatically become the owner of those shares. Automatically will become the owner of those shares. So there is a benefit of this sort. Sir, but father can make daughter as nominee, no sir. Or father can prepare his will and write in that will, know that these shares he wants to give to his daughter, sir. First thing, see, will may not be made by everyone. Now to things have, life has become so uncertain that at the age of 35, 40, 45 also people are leaving this world. It's very unfortunate but happening. No, we could see, we could hear cardiac arrest or whatever is the reason, but we could find. So what I'm trying to tell you is life has become so much uncertain. How do you expect every person to prepare a will, and at what age should he prepare? Not possible. That's where came the concept of nomination. So when you acquire some asset, when you purchase some asset, you can nominate someone. But if that person dies, the owner dies, the nominee will not become automatically the owner. He has to prove something He has to submit some document, some formalities he has to do. Then he will become the owner. However, when there is joint holding, what happens? If one joint holder dies, other becomes automatically the owner. So there is a benefit, no? That's why people go for joint holding. So now the risk involved here is that if you do joint holding with someone whom you don't trust, that person only will kill you. Just imagine you did joint holding with your friend, and that friend in the greed of money killed you, and he became automatically the owner. So there is a risk involved or not? So that's where, tell me, when you want to do joint holding, with whom will you do? Family members. Again, in family members, whom you trust? Brother probably no. फिर why didn't I take son? Father daughter liya मैं. We want to be safe, boss. Correct? So please understand, husband and wife. No sir, we have watched Saat Khoon Maaf. There was a movie, no, Saat Khoon Maaf, Priyanka Chopra. So we know even wife can kill husband. So better don't go for that. But that's an exceptional case. Why are you so pessimist, boss? Priyanka killed means everyone will kill. Every wife will kill husband. No sir, but divorce happening these days. Lot more divorce cases we are hearing, right? So your wish, boss. I just made you understand when you go for joint holding and what are the risks attached to it. So you understood this. Accordingly, take a proper and wise decision or guide anyone properly. Okay? Clear? So now if someone asks you why you should go for joint holding or when I should go for joint holding, are you in a position to answer? Yes, sir. What will we say? If you go for joint holding with anyone, then if any one of you die, the other person will automatically become the owner. This is the benefit. No formalities and all. However, as we said, there is a risk attached. You have to be careful with whom are you doing joint holding. Because if that other joint holder only kills you, you are in soup then. So better beware of this and then take a decision is what we will suggest. Clear? So sir, what about the first reason which we gave, where we didn't had enough money still, we wanted to buy, so we went for joint holding. Yeah, that happens. But mainly this is the reason which I have given you just now. Okay, that reason also might be there. But the main reason is, come on, after the death of one joint holder, other should become automatically the owner. He should not face problems. Lot of times, don't you think succession is a problem? Suppose father writes in the will that after my death, so and so person should become the owner. Relatives will create a problem. Two brothers will start fighting. Mother and son will start fighting. Have you not heard of it? Succession becomes an issue. So the person to whom that asset should be given, property should be given or should belong, he might suffer, he might not get it. And that's what we don't want. That's where we'll go for joint holding. Nomination is better than will. Because specifically you'll say this asset, this bank account, whatever money, this provident fund account, whatever money, this shares, whatever number of shares belongs to so and so person. But again, nomination requires some formalities. But joint holding doesn't. So which one is better out of the three? Joint holding. Clear? So they have said if joint holders are there, we don't mind. We'll count them as only one member. Acha sir, only two joint holders can be there, three can't be there, four can't be there. There can be. But more the number of joint holders are there, more is the problem you are creating. Don't have too many joint holders. Confusion hoga na. And ladai jhagda fir se. They will start fighting. So better to have lesser number of joint holders than having many. Clear? Okay, sir. So we understood this first restriction properly. Restricts the number of members in a private company to how many? 200. In that 200, we will not be counting which type of members who got membership because of employment. So that means employee and former employees. And if there are joint holders, then we will count them as only one member. Fine, sir. Is there a restriction? Yes, sir. Restricts we have written already. Second restriction. Restricts the transfer of shares. What was that restriction? I have told you already this restriction. Preemptive clause. Preemptive clause. Now who will explain me what is this preemptive clause? Let us say there are 5 members in a private company, right? Amina, Shivani, Priya, Madhavi and Radhika. Okay, 5 members are there in the private company. Can there be 5 members? Yes sir, minimum 2, maximum 200. So 5 members can be there in a private company. So now Radhika wants to exit this company. So, good. So she'll have to sell those shares to the other 4 members. She has to offer to those 4, existing 4. If they don't want to buy, then she can sell to some outsider. Let's say she wants to sell it to Balaswamy. And Balaswamy is acceptable to Shivani, Amina, Priya, Madhavi. Then, yes, Balaswamy can come in. Otherwise, no. That is preemptive clause. So, in a private company, if a member wants to exit, he cannot just sell to any person. He has to first offer that to the other members. And if other members don't want to buy, then he can sell to outsider, but that outsider should be acceptable to the existing members. That's the clause which is called as preemptive clause. So there is a restriction on transfer of shares. And what is the procedure for transfer of shares? So that we will find in articles of association. And you said we will discuss about transferability of shares when we go to the chapter 4, share capital and debentures. There we'll talk about even transfer of shares. Clear? Right sir. Then third one, what is it? Prohibits. Earlier we were saying restricts, now it is prohibits. Prohibits what? Public invitation of securities. That means if private company wants to issue a prospectus and invite public, come join us, purchase our shares, can they do this? No, it is not possible. That's not allowed. So prohibits public invitation for securities. No boss, not allowed. They can't invite. They can't issue prospectus because ultimately it's a private company, closed group. It can't be a public group. Correct? So now I have a simple question, very simple question here, and I am confident that you will answer. I think Amina should be given a chance to answer. Otherwise Amina will say, you're not asking anything to me. Yes or no? Amina? Amina ji, let's just think that you are passing by road. Okay, you are just passing by road and you see some board of a private company and you have money in your pocket or in your bank account and you are eager to become member of some company. So you decide to go to that private company and tell them that you are interested in becoming member of that private company. Understood? So you are passing by road, you saw that board, what will you do? You'll go to that company and say, I Amina want to become member of your private company. Did they invite you? No. You have gone on your own and are saying, I want to become member of this private company. Now please tell me, is it possible or not possible? Why? You have to give reasons also of whatever answer you give. Okay, Karthik, what do you think? Can Amina become member of that private company? She is saying yes because she says that if company is ready to accept me as a member, I can become. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think about it? She said correct. You agree with her. You fully endorse her thoughts. Okay. Yes, Priya madam. What do you think? Yes. Why? Sir, because prohibition is on public invitation. The company should not invite. Prohibition is on invitation. Whereas here, company did not invite. This person on her own went to that company. Okay. 3 of you please sit. What about others? What about others? Yes, guys. Huh? All others agree with them? Tell me, boss, yes or no? No. Why don't you agree with them? Huh? Answer. Arey, but company did not invite. No, they didn't say, Amina madam, IE, baniye shareholder, nor they issued prospectus. The person on her own has gone to the company and has shown interest that I want to become member of this company. Company did not invite. Huh, Balaswamy? Company did not invite, boss. Huh, but they have not issued prospectus. Like that, though, name boards are there on the on the road. Anyways, good. I'll go with your answer. Definitely, I'll go with your answer because ultimately, Amina is public. And when they said that prohibition is on public invitation, what it means is when public on their own also comes and says, take me, can they take it like this? That's wrong, so wrong. When now I say, Arey Mehul, don't shake hand with Karthik. Don't shake hand with Karthik. So now Karthik comes and proposes that handshake. Can he do it? No, that's wrong. Because when I said, no, matlab you should not propose, nor when he comes, you should do handshake with him. It's either ways, no. So that's where please understand that the company should not be. But as an exception, now first I'll go with you. Now as an exception, if all other members, let's say there were 5 members in that private company, they've said, Arey, anyways, we are in need of money, more money, we want to expand, and we were looking out for some good person to join us. She seems to be a decent person, she has a lot of money as well. So let's take her. All the 6 hold a meeting and decide, let's take her. Then there is a possibility, yes, that might happen. But that's a closed, that's not like inviting public and all. No, that can't be done. This is a private company. Please understand. Okay. So did you follow the definition given under section 2 clause 68 for private company? Now can you tell fully? 3 points are there, no? First one, registered company. Second one, minimum paid up capital as prescribed. It's paid up capital. It's not nominal capital, authorized capital. Okay. It's paid up capital. Third, 3 restrictive clauses in the articles of association. What are those 3 restrictive clauses? Number 1, restricts the number of members to 200 except employee and former employee. Second, no, joint holders is a proviso there. Joint holders treated as 1 member. Second restriction, restricts the transferability of shares. And what is that restriction? Preemptive clause. Third, prohibits the public invitation for securities. Good. Now, sir, this question you have not taken. I have taken. What do you mean by company? Didn't I take it? Yes. Are we talking about unregistered companies when we talk about company? No, sir. We have talked about registered company. Very clearly written as well. Registered company. Correct? Then the word prescribed, did we take it? Yes. Where did we get it from? 2 clause 66. Correct? We have taken it from where? 2 clause 66. And 2 clause 66 has mentioned that prescribed word means what? Rules framed by the government. And where is the power given to the government to make rules? 469. Last but one section. And above that was 468, again power of making rules, but for winding up. And 467 was power of amending rules, schedules and all. Good. Now let's go to the next one and the last one for today, and that is definition of public company, 2 clause 71. Do you think it will take more time now? No, obviously not, because we have understood private company. So this is going to take lesser time. Okay. 2 clause 71, public company. 2 clause 71, public company. I'm waiting for your answer. Very good. First thing, it has to be a registered company. Public company has to be a company. Meaning which company? Obviously registered company. Company under Companies Act. Okay, good. Minimum paid up capital as prescribed again. Minimum paid up capital. What will you say? As prescribed. Very good. That's the spirit, man. Third, no restrictions, we'll say. Straight away when we say no restrictions, no three restrictive clauses unlike the articles. So obviously we are covering all the 3 points in negation. That means, is there any limit, maximum limit on number of members? No. Is there a restriction on transfer of shares? No. Then third one was public invitation for securities. Yes, that will happen. It's a public company. Public company will not give invitation to public. It will. Correct or not? And one more you need to understand, that private company, which is a subsidiary of public company, is also a public company. Okay, first one, registered company. Second one, minimum paid up capital as prescribed. Third one, we said it's not a private company. That means those 3 restrictive clauses of private company will not apply here. So we understood the implication also of it, that there is no maximum, no limit on maximum number of members. There is free transferability of shares which is allowed. Public invitation for securities is very much allowed or accepted. Right, sir. Then the fourth point states what? A private company which is a subsidiary of public company is also a public company, though it may continue as private company in its articles, but still it is deemed to be a public company. So if someone asks you this question, is there a concept of deemed public company? What will you reply? Yes, we could see that in 2 clause 71. Okay. Sir, we didn't understand this. So maybe this diagram will help you understand. Who knows? Correct. This is the private company here. Please have a look at the board. Okay. This is the private company. Hai na? No, sir. Public company. That's what, madam. So if you look at the board, then you will understand. Right. So it's a public company. And who are the members of this public company? Sir, here they are. We could see you have drawn those beautiful faces. Hai na? So Mehul is also there. Balaswamy is there. Like that. There are people who are there who are the members of public company. Then there is a private company. And this private company is a subsidiary of public company. So private company which is a subsidiary of public company, we are saying that is deemed as a public company. Why? Sir, because of the simple reason that these members of public company indirectly have put in money where? Private company. अरे directly तो public में invest करे ना boss. Indirectly they have put in where? In private company. Because when we are saying private company is a subsidiary of public company, that means public company has put in money. And who has put in money in public company? Those shareholders, those members. So indirectly, don't you think these members only has put in money in this private company? Yes, sir. That's where they are deeming it as what? Public company. Though in their articles, they are continuing as private company. But how will the provisions apply to this private company as if it is a public company? The provisions will apply as if it is a public company. And we will see this. Aata sab wo sab. So this is how it will go. So we have to be careful in case we find any private company which is a subsidiary of public company, because then it is deemed as public company, which implies the provisions which apply to public company will be applicable to such private company. So don't you think when you take up any assignment, you need to know the capital structure also of that company? Correct? Capital structure of that company, because accordingly you will advise, you will understand which provisions will apply and how will they apply. Okay, sir. Followed, sir. Sir, why do you leave us so early, sir? Continue. Okay, so if you want, how can I deny? Let's continue. We can continue, right? What happened? Chalo, thodi der. OPC, the third one in membership is what? OPC, one person company. I have told you, if you remember, that this concept of OPC was not there earlier in Companies Act 1956. Only in 2013 Act we got this concept of OPC. So we have taken inspiration from English Companies Act and got it here. Okay, sir. Sir, but why did we think of OPC? Why did we even take inspiration from that English company law and brought this type of concept OPC, one person company? Because company means two persons minimum are required. I cannot say I am giving company to myself. I love my company. Correct? That's not possible. Please understand. Or in the general meetings, I'll place mirrors and look at myself. In the general meeting means meeting the other person. No. So I will place mirrors and see myself and talk. No. So why did they bring this concept of OPC is the first question. They want every business, as far as possible, every business to be in company form. Sir, why? What is so special about company form? What is wrong with partnership? What is wrong with sole proprietorship? What is wrong with joint Hindu families? Correct. What is wrong with cooperative societies? Why do they want every business these days to be in company form? Because company form of business is a professional form of business. It will bring accountability, transparency. Don't you think so? When you are regulated, don't you think you will perform better? You will be scared of doing wrong things. Come on, guys. There will be lesser disputes. Yes. So that's what they understand and they say, better we have which form of business? Company form. So even with one person, let's have a company. Let's allow that concept. So that's where they got this OPC. Are you getting it? Anything which is formal, which is creating transparency, which is creating accountability, don't you think it is better to have and thereby company form here? So one single person, ठीक है भाई, तू भी आ जा, तू sole proprietor क्यों रहता, तू भी company बन जा. No, but cost will be higher because greater formalities will be there, greater cost will be involved there. They said, don't worry, we will give you relaxations, we will give you exemption. Sir, how can they give exemption? Did any section give the power to the central government to give exemptions? Where do you think it might have been given? Chapter 29, last chapter miscellaneous you will find, right? At least you guess. So now see, if you could find somewhere. Search. Let's see who can give the answer to me. Who gave the answer? Very, very good. Section number 462. If you just observe, could you see? 462. Power to exempt class or classes of companies from provision of this act. So central government is getting power because of this particular section and thereby able to give exemption from provision or provisions to class or classes of companies. Understand? See, central government may in public interest by notification direct that any provisions of this act shall not apply to such class or classes of companies or shall apply but with some such exceptions, modifications and adaptations as may be specified in the notification. Clear? So that means there is some section which is giving the power to central government and thereby central government is saying confidently that, okay, you incorporate an OPC, don't worry, we will give you exemptions from the formalities. We have that power, you don't have to worry. So you become a company, it is good for you because you will become formal, you will become more serious, you will be accountable, you will do business more professionally, and thereby you will grow your business. And when you grow your business, company form is the best one, no? Correct or not? When you want to do business in large scale, which form of business is better? Company form. So that's what they're trying to tell you here. Okay, sir, we understood. So now let's see what is the definition talking about. 2 clause 62, 2 clause 68, private company, 2 clause 71, public company, 2 clause 62, OPC. I hope you are entering in your list also. I have told you, you are preparing a list for section 2, the various clauses. 20, company, definition of company, 2 clause 20. Very good. So company with one member is an OPC. Yes, sir. From the name itself, we understood. One person company. So how many members are there? Only one. It's a type of private company. It's a type of private company. What does this imply? This implies that if there are specific provisions for OPC, then specific provisions will apply. But if there is no specific provision for OPC, then the provisions applicable to private company will apply to OPC. If I specifically say something to Shivani, then specifically whatever I said, that is what is applicable to Shivani. But suppose I don't say specifically anything to Shivani, but I said something to students. So do you think she is also a student and she has to follow it as well? Yes. Understood? Tomorrow you have to come on time. All of you. So now, did I say specifically Shivani? No. So do you think now Shivani also has to come on time? Yes, sir. Obviously. But I say specifically, Shivani, you have to come 10 minutes early. Okay? 10 minutes early you have to be there. I will check your book tomorrow. Now what? Only Shivani. So specifically when I said to Shivani, she understands, oh, I have to come before time. 10 minutes before sir is asking me to come. Specifically I said. If I don't say anything, that means everyone I have said what? Come on time. She also come on time only. Why should she come before time? Clear or not? Same way it's here. If specific provision is there for OPC, that specific provision will apply to OPC. But if no specific provision, then provisions which are applicable to private company will apply here. So kindly understand now with the help of example. Nomination clause. In the memorandum of association, they say as far as OPC is concerned that there shall be a nomination clause. That means if that one person dies, who will become the owner next? Who will become the successor after this nominee? So his name has to be mentioned in that nomination clause in the memorandum of association. This is not there for public company and private company. This is only for whom? OPC. So specific provision is there. So specific provision will apply. Second example, if you just see with respect to name. Name. They say one person company. OPC should be there in the name. Specifically for OPC they mentioned this. Like I have given one example also. Factual example this is. That means you can Google this company's name and find out. Okay, what is the name given there? As example I have written there. Truffle House OPC Private Limited. This is how you will find the name. Public company means always the word limited will be there. Private company means private limited. And OPC means OPC in brackets and then private limited. This is how you will find the names. So specifically for OPC this is given. Obviously we have to take it. Then in OPC minimum number of directors 1. Sir, how about private company? 2. Sir, how about public company? 3. Director is it. Members 7. But minimum number of directors in public company is 3. Private company 2. For OPC what did they say? 1. So what will be applicable? 1. Suppose they wouldn't have given this, then how many number of directors you would have said? 2. Because private company 2, so 2. But anyways, it is given. Specifically they mentioned minimum number of directors for OPC is 1. So 1 will be applicable. Next. How many subscribers to MOA? 1. Specifically mentioned. So that's where it is applicable. So I hope you understood this point. Specific provision, then specific will apply. If no specific provision, then provisions applicable to private company will be applicable. Clear? So this was the definition 2 clause 62, right? Definition given under 2 clause 62 about OPC. So we have covered 3: public company, private company, one person company. This is based on membership. The basis is membership in the types of companies. Okay. And apart from this, what did we cover? Lifting of corporate wheel. We have completed those judicial circumstances as well. Okay. So now you tell me. If you tell me, then only I'll continue. Otherwise, we'll stop here. Your wish completely. I wanted to cover this at least. What do you say? Membership. That's where I have covered. Okay. These 3 over. Shall I continue for some time or no? Come on, honestly, I'm asking you. No problem. Don't be scared. Okay, fine. So let us continue tomorrow then. Okay. From where we are leaving now. So tomorrow when we meet, obviously we'll recap first and then continue with the next definition which is given out here. The next type of company, small company. As I've told you, I'm repeating again. What is your homework on a daily basis? Number 1, whatever we have discussed, read from your study material as well. Correct? Second, as you said, revise. Third, sir, glossary, whatever we can fill, we should fill. Isn't it? These are your homeworks on a daily basis. Any help, any doubt, please ask always. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. God bless you all.